Hornby, southwest of Christchurch's devastated city centre, right here beside State Highway 1. I grew up here back in the 80s and 90s, and I did all my schooling here and have nothing but fond memories growing up with my two sisters. My dad was Ngāti Kahungunu. He was stationed in Malaysia during the Vietnam War, and he met my Chinese mother and brought her back here, where all three of us were raised. Here in Hornby, 1 in 4 people was born overseas, and after Europeans, the most common ethnicity is Asian, so I've always felt quite at home here. The flavour of Hornby is delightfully mixed, and this time on Neighbourhood, we're going to have a really good scout around. We find out how the bond between Japan and New Zealand has strengthened after both countries suffered devastating earthquakes.
Japan sent 1,000 origami to Christchurch city. So we to make 1,000 coin again. So Japanese help Japanese. It's a great thing.
Meet a musical Zimbabwean family whose instruments hold deep cultural significance.
If I hear this sound, it takes me back. Way back to Africa, where I came from when I was young.
Hear the moving story of how one Egyptian woman is passing on her precious family recipes.
I thought I'd be the worst cook on the planet, and I'm lucky that I've still got my mum around and she's teaching me. And actually, my mum is proud in front of her family that she taught her daughter how to cook properly.
And sit in on a performance by the Philippine Culture and Sport Group.
I am a Filipino. I love my dance, I love my country, and how will I express my culture is through dance.
I'm Pearl Runga, and this is my neighbourhood. Hornby has remained relatively unharmed by the earthquakes of the past 2 years, but even here, it's hard to ignore what has happened to this proud and beautiful city. As a kid growing up here, we lived a carefree existence. I divided my time between the mall and here at the library, and by high school I was spending a lot of time at the music room. There was only a handful of Asian kids, but I was fiercely proud of my heritage and never really had a problem fitting in. The quakes have stolen some of that feeling of innocence, but in the midst of the carnage, there are thousands of tales of bravery and incredible kindness. Christchurch's Japanese community suffered a double blow with the news of the quake that ravaged their homeland in 2011. It meant they had to pull together all over again, and it's had the added effect of bringing Kiwis and local Japanese residents closer together.
My name is Ikuko Clark. I live in Hornby area. When we had an earthquake, I was secretary of Japanese Society and vice chairman.
Japanese help Japanese.
Yeah.
Even though we had a disaster, we stand up, connect with people and work with Kiwi people. Also Japanese immigrants stood up, work hard. I'm very happy involved in the society, Japanese society. I appreciate it.
My family is incredibly musical. Both my sisters, Beck and Bo, have made successful careers out of singing and songwriting. And I was well on my way to doing so myself when I changed tack and took up a career in teaching. Both my parents were musical. Mum was a singer in Malaysia, performing popular Western songs and Cantonese hits. When we were little, she used to play us recordings of everything from Chinese opera to Cliff Richard, and we used to sing together pretty much all the time. Music and dance are essential parts of most cultures, and when you transplant yourself from one country to another, it's easy to lose touch. One Hornby woman is determined to see her Filipino culture flourish and thrive.
I am a Filipino. I love my dance, I love my country, and how will I express my culture is through dance. I am Delia Richards, and I've been teaching the Philippine folk dances since 1967. This kumintang, we can have it closed and we can have it open. When you go to the central part of the Philippines, you have lively music and smiling people with from open hands. It tells you that this is your identity. Why I teach dance? Because I want the culture to stay alive.
Chinese New Year has always been a big deal for my family. When I was growing up, there were no big festivals like the ones you see today. Instead, Mum's friends would come and visit us, or we'd visit them to share an authentic Chinese feast and to exchange hongbao, red packets of money. The red symbolises good luck and is supposed to ward off evil spirits. I was really fascinated by these as a child and thought they looked really beautiful. Now I take my 3-year-old son, D'Angelo, to the Chinese New Year's festivals, and I really like the way the wider community is embracing our traditions. Here in Hornby, there's a talented Zimbabwean family who also like to share their customs and their treasures with the people in their neighbourhood.
If I hear this sound, it takes me back, way back to Africa, where I came from when I was young. And as a result, they've shown love to me. So that's my philosophy.
My Asian culture has totally influenced the type of foods I like to eat today. I even like some of those things that might make other people squirm, like chicken feet. I have really fond memories of learning how to cook authentic Chinese foods from my mum and her friends. We would spend the whole day preparing things like pork buns, and anyone who could get hold of the Asian vegetables back in the 1980s would be considered a hero. The passing on of recipes is vital to keeping our cultures alive. There's an Egyptian woman here in Hornby who has embarked on a very special mission to make sure that her own family recipes don't disappear.
One thing when I was a little kid, I didn't like about my mum was she was in the kitchen all times, and I didn't want to be in the kitchen all the time like her. But as time goes by, I'm actually like her. I'm picking up the recipes and so on, so it means a lot to me. I was born in Egypt, in Cairo, and we immigrated to New Zealand in 1997. I've got a big family here. I've got my parents, my brother. I got married here. I met my husband here. No arranged marriages. And I've been married for 2.5 years. When I got married, that's when I started to learn how to cook. And I thought I'll be the worst cook on the planet. I love my recipes. I love my mom's recipes. Yeah.
Hornby will always be special to me as I spent a happy childhood here. I come back now to play the occasional gig or visit friends, and I'm so impressed at how this area has evolved. I was one of only a tiny handful of Asians that lived here back in the 80s. But now, everywhere you look, there are signs of a booming divergent culture. Christchurch has been through so much, but out of the rubble, great things are still happening. And here in Hornby, I think the future looks pretty good.